Welcome to the world of science fiction stories, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Enjoy the listening. First Contact fail: how human warships humiliated advanced aliens. The sleek vessels of the Terral Confederation slipped into Earth's solar system with minimal disturbance, their hulls absorbing most scanning frequencies. Captain Joan Kim of Earth's United Space Command stood on the bridge of the ESS Horizon, watching the alien ships approach with practiced calm despite the historic gravity of the moment. "They're requesting communication, sir," said Lieutenant Mina Park, her fingers steady over the controls. "Accept their transmission," ordered Kim, straightening his uniform. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the elongated features of the Terral ambassador. Its silvery skin reflected the lights of their ship's command center, and 6 eyes blinked in an unsynchronized pattern. "We greet Earth," the translator rendered in slightly mechanical tones. "We come in peace and curiosity." What the aliens couldn't hide was their confusion. When their scans finally penetrated the Horizon's defensive systems, the energy signatures didn't match any technology they had encountered in their centuries of space exploration. Captain Kim noticed the subtle shift in the Terral ambassador's posture. The alien's 6 eyes widened slightly, and its breathing quickened. Kim had studied enough xenobiology reports to recognize surprise when he saw it. "Is something wrong?" Ambassador Kim asked, maintaining his professional demeanor. The Terral hesitated before responding. "Your vessel's energy matrix is unusual, we have not encountered such configurations before." Lieutenant Park glanced at her captain, a silent question in her eyes. Kim gave a slight nod, authorizing limited information sharing. "Our ships utilize a hybrid system," Kim explained. "We found traditional approaches insufficient for our needs." The truth was more complex. Earth's military craft incorporated technology that had been developed in isolation from the rest of the galaxy. Humans had taken a completely different path in weapons development, focusing on energy efficiency and adaptability rather than raw power. The Terral delegation requested permission to send a small shuttle to dock with the Horizon. After quick consultation with command, Kim granted this request. 3 Terral representatives boarded the human vessel, their tall, slender forms towering over the human crew, their silvery skin seeming to shimmer under the ship's lights. Chief Engineer Jazz Song was assigned to escort the visitors. He led them through carefully selected areas of the ship, answering their increasingly specific questions about human propulsion systems. "Your drive cores operate on principles we haven't explored," said the lead Terral scientist, Naren. "The energy signature suggests you've bypassed the Kelmer barrier." Song maintained a neutral expression. The humans had no idea what the Kelmer barrier was, but he wasn't about to reveal their ignorance. "We found our own solutions to various challenges," he replied simply. Meanwhile, Captain Kim received a private message from Earth Command. The alien vessels had been scanned extensively, and humanity now had its first detailed look at Terral technology. The message contained one crucial piece of information: the Terral ships were far more advanced than Earth vessels in many ways, but Earth's shielding technology and weapon systems were surprisingly competitive, even superior in some aspects. Kim understood the delicate position they were in. The Terral clearly expected to find a less developed civilization. Their surprise suggested they had categorized humans as a junior species, worthy of contact but not necessarily respect as equals. The ambassador and his team returned to the command deck. "Captain Kim, we are impressed by your ship. Your species has developed fascinating solutions to space travel challenges," he said. "Thank you, Ambassador. We've worked hard to reach the stars. We notice your defensive capabilities are particularly unique. Our scans detect unusual patterns in your shield harmonics." Kim felt a flicker of concern. The shield technology was Earth's greatest military advantage. "Yes, we found our approach effective for our new needs." The ambassador's eyes blinked in that unsettling pattern again. "Most young species focus on offensive capabilities first. Defensive technology typically develops later. Your path is unusual, perhaps our priorities differ." Kim replied carefully. The real story was that Earth had nearly destroyed itself a century earlier. The survivors had vowed never again to be vulnerable. Shield technology had become the first priority, allowing humans to protect themselves while rebuilding. As the diplomatic exchange continued, Lieutenant Park noticed something on her monitor. "Sir," she whispered to Kim, "they're actively scanning our shield generators." Kim nodded slightly. He'd expected this. "Ambassador, while we appreciate your interest in our technology, some areas remain classified, just as I'm sure you have systems you prefer to keep private." The ambassador's skin flushed a deeper silver. "Of course, Captain, a natural precaution." What neither side mentioned was the growing realization that this first contact was not between an advanced species and a developing one, it was between two civilizations with different but comparably advanced technologies. As the meeting concluded, the ambassador made an unexpected request. "Captain Kim, my government extends an invitation. Would your ship accompany us to the outer system? We would like to demonstrate some of our own capabilities as a gesture of goodwill." Kim received immediate instructions from command. "Accept, but maintain alert status." "We would be honored, Ambassador," Kim replied, as the ESS Horizon changed course to follow the Terrell ships. Captain Kim called his senior officers for a private meeting. "They're reassessing us," he told them. They expected to find primitive humans, instead, they found technology they don't understand. "We need to be careful about what we reveal, but this could be an opportunity. If they respect our capabilities, they'll respect our boundaries." The Horizon moved alongside the Terrell flagship, its unusual energy signature causing continued confusion among the alien sensors. The humans had no way of knowing that an emergency message had already been sent to the Terrell home world. First contact established with Earth, initial assessment incorrect. Human military technology follows an unexpected development path, request immediate diplomatic guidance. "The game of cautious revelation has begun, they want us to show them our ships," Admiral Hannah Lee announced to the hastily assembled Security Council. "Specifically, our military capabilities." President Ta-Song frowned, Kim recalled, and revealed our defensive secrets to an unknown species. "We could offer a limited demonstration," suggested Defense Minister Jean Kwan. "The Artemis is equipped with our previous generation technology, advanced enough to be impressive, outdated enough to be expendable." 3 days later, Commander Du Parc guided the Artemis through a series of maneuvers that left the Terrell observers visibly startled. The human vessel's ability to execute precise micro-jumps and its unique approach to gravitational manipulation were unlike anything in their experience. "Your thrust vectors defy conventional physics," the Terrell chief engineer, Maud Model, stated. The translator struggled with the technical terms. "Not defy," Park corrected with a slight smile. "Just interpret them differently." The Artemis hung in space, its sleek hull reflecting the distant sunlight. Commander Park stood at the helm, his fingers dancing across the controls with practiced ease. Behind him, 6 Terrell observers watched his every move, their multiple eyes wide and unblinking. "We will now demonstrate basic maneuverability," Park announced. What followed was anything but basic. The Artemis spun on its axis, then shot forward at half-thrust. The inertial dampeners kept everyone standing, but the Terrell still swayed slightly, unprepared for the sudden acceleration. "Impressive response time," noted the Terrell chief engineer, Leto, "but hardly unique," Park nodded politely. "Of course. Now for something a bit more interesting," he pressed a sequence into the control panel. The ship's engines hummed with a different tone, then without warning, the Artemis vanished. The Terrell gasped collectively, their heads swiveling as they searched for the missing vessel. 3 seconds later, the Artemis reappeared 2 kilometers away. "What was that?" demanded Leto, his silvery skin flushing deep blue with excitement. "Some kind of teleportation, we call it a micro-jump," Park explained calmly. "A modified version of our standard faster-than-light system, but calibrated for extremely short distances." What Park didn't mention was that this technology was indeed outdated by Earth standards, the newer ships could perform jumps with much greater precision and at far less energy cost. From the observation deck of their flagship, the Terral ambassador and his military advisors watched the demonstration. The ambassador's aide leaned in close. "This technology is unexpected, your approach to space-time manipulation is unorthodox." The ambassador nodded slowly. "Continue monitoring, learn everything you can about the Artemis." Park continued the show. "Now for a demonstration of our gravitational manipulation system." The ship approached a small asteroid that had been positioned for this purpose. Rather than using tractor beams or physical grappling, the Artemis projected an invisible field. The asteroid began to move, not toward the ship as with conventional tractor technology, but in a precisely controlled orbit around it. "You're creating a localized gravity well," Leo observed, unable to hide his amazement. "But your power readings are impossibly low for such an effect." Park smiled. Efficiency has always been a human priority. In truth, this technology was the result of desperate innovation during Earth's recovery period. With limited resources, humans had been forced to find energy-efficient solutions. The gravity manipulation system used only a fraction of the power that conventional systems required. On the bridge of the Terral flagship, a military advisor turned to the ambassador. "They are showing us outdated systems," he said with certainty. "These are not their best technologies." "Of course not," the ambassador replied. "Neither would we reveal our true capabilities. The question is, how far behind their current technology is what they're showing us?" The demonstration continued as the Artemis executed a series of defensive maneuvers, activating its shield system briefly. The shield bubble that formed around the ship had a unique pattern, with energy flowing in spirals rather than the standard grid pattern used by most species. "Your shield configuration is unlike any we've encountered," Leo said. "The energy distribution pattern should be unstable, yet it holds." "Different approach, different results," Park replied simply. What the Terral couldn't detect was that the shield was operating at only 20% capacity. At full power, the system could withstand impacts that would destroy most vessels of similar size. As the demonstration concluded, Park invited the Terral engineers to ask questions. They had many, but Park noticed they carefully avoided asking about the core principles behind human technology. They were fishing for information while revealing little about their own level of understanding. Commander Leto asked finally, "How long has Earth been capable of interstellar travel?" "Approximately 70 Earth years," Park answered truthfully. The Terral exchanged glances. This was remarkably fast development by galactic standards. Most species took centuries to progress from basic space travel to the level of technology the humans were displaying. After the Terral observers returned to their vessel, Park received a secure communication from Earth Command. "Assessment?" Admiral Lee asked without preamble. "They're impressed but suspicious," Park reported. "They know we're holding back, but so are they. Their questions revealed gaps in their understanding of our approach to physics, but they're clearly advanced in other areas. Maintain the current course. Show enough to earn respect, not enough to compromise security," Lee ordered. As the Artemis rejoined the Earth Defense Fleet, the Terral ships maintained position nearby. Both sides were now engaged in a delicate dance of revelation and concealment. The humans had successfully demonstrated that they were not to be underestimated while keeping their true capabilities hidden. What neither side fully realized was how fundamentally different their technological halves had been. The Terral had developed along lines common to many galactic civilizations. Humans, isolated and forced to innovate independently, had created solutions that the wider galaxy had never explored. The stage was set for the next phase of this cautious first contact, with both sides re-evaluating their initial assumptions about the other. The alert came without warning. A Terral scout ship had ventured too close to the automated defense grid. "Surrounding Europa perimeter breach detected, countermeasures active," announced the AI system before anyone could override the command. A series of defensive bolts activated, creating an energy field that immobilized the Terral vessel. "They'll think we're attacking," Lieutenant Sun shouted. Captain Kim, immediately open all channels. Terrell delegation, please stand down. This is a defensive misunderstanding. The scout had triggered automated systems. The Terrell ships shifted into formation, weapon systems humming to life. Your automated systems seem remarkably sophisticated, the Terrell commander observed coldly. Perhaps we have underestimated Earth's technological advancement. The tension on the bridge of the ESS Horizon was thick enough to cut with a knife. Captain Kim's hands gripped the command console as he watched the Terrell warships move into attack formation. Their sleek hulls gleamed menacingly as weapon ports slid open across their surfaces. All hands to battle stations, Kim ordered calmly, but weapons remain offline. I repeat, weapons remain offline. Lieutenant Yun looked at him with wide eyes. Sir, they're powering up targeting systems. I know, Kim replied, but this is a misunderstanding. If we power up our weapons, we confirm their suspicions. The defensive grid around Europa was one of humanity's most closely guarded secrets, designed to protect the valuable research facilities beneath the moon's icy surface. The system was fully automated and programmed to respond to any unauthorized approach. No one had fought to update its protocols for the Terrell visit. The small Terrell scout ship hung motionless in the energy field, its engine struggling uselessly against the invisible force holding it in place. Inside, the Terrell crew was no doubt reporting back to their command. Get me, Admiral Lee, Kim ordered moments later. Admiral Hannah Lee's face appeared on the communication screen, her expression grim. I see the situation, Captain. The defensive grid was supposed to be deactivated for the Terrell visit, something went wrong. I'm sending the override codes now, Kim said simply. Lee replied, in the meantime, keep talking to them. Kim reopened the channel to the Terrell flagship. Commander Bond, please understand, this is a technical error. Our automated defense system around Hobo was not properly reconfigured for your visit. We are sending shutdown codes now. The Terrell commander's 6 eyes narrowed. A convenient explanation, Captain Kim, but our scout ship reports that the technology holding it is far more advanced than what you demonstrated earlier. Kim chose his words carefully. As I said, these are automated defenses, they operate on different principles than our ship-based systems. This was partially true, the Europa grid used technology that was indeed different from standard ship systems, but not for the reasons the Terrell might assume. The grid was actually newer and more advanced than what the Artemis had demonstrated on the tactical display. Kim could see 5 Terrell warships now moving toward Europa while 3 remained in position near Earth. They were splitting their forces, a standard tactical move that suggested they were preparing for possible conflict. The override codes aren't working, Lieutenant Yun reported quietly. Something's wrong with the system. Kim felt a drop of sweat slide down his back. This is quickly becoming a diplomatic nightmare, Admiral, he said, switching back to the secure Earth channel. We need those defenses down now. Working on it, Captain, Lee replied tensely. The system is rejecting standard overrides. We think the Terrell scout may have inadvertently triggered a security protocol when it scanned the grid. On the main viewer, Kim watched as more Terrell ships moved into position, their weapon systems were now fully powered. Sir, Lieutenant Yum said urgently, they're targeting our ships as well as the defense grid. Kim made a decision. Send this message to all Earth vessels, maintain position, shields at minimum power, just enough for basic protection but not enough to appear threatening. We need to de-escalate. He opened the channel to the Terrell commander again. Commander Bond, we are working to resolve this technical issue. As a show of good faith, our vessels will maintain current positions with minimal defensive measures. We have no hostile intent. The Terrell commander's face remained impassive. Your automated defenses have captured one of our vessels and are preventing communication with its crew. This could be interpreted as active aggression. The grid is designed to immobilize, not harm, Kim explained. Your crew is in no danger, we are experiencing a technical malfunction with the override system. Please give us time to resolve it. A new alert sounded on the tactical console. Sir, Yum reported, the Terrell are launching smaller vessels, fighter craft. Based on their size and energy signatures, Kim watched as 20 small craft emerged from the larger Terrell ships, taking up positions around the trapped scout vessel, a precautionary measure, Commander Bond explained, without being asked, to ensure the safe recovery of our crew once your malfunction is resolved. The implied accusation was clear, the Terrell didn't believe this was a simple error. Finally, a breakthrough came. Captain, Admiral Lee reported, our engineers have found the problem. The defense grid interpreted the Terrell scouts scanning frequencies as a cyber attack attempt. We're reconfiguring the recognition parameters now. 10 minutes later, the energy field around the Terrell scout suddenly disappeared. The small ship drifted for a moment before its engines reactivated. Your vessel is free, Kim informed Commander Bond. Again, we apologize for this unfortunate incident. The Terrell commander watched as his scout ship rejoined the fleet. An interesting demonstration of your defensive capabilities, Captain Kim, intentional or not, it was not a demonstration, Kim insisted. Perhaps not, Commander Bond replied, but it was certainly educational. Your automated defenses appear to operate at a higher technological level than the systems you chose to show us. One might wonder what other surprises Earth has kept hidden. As the Terrell ships slowly withdrew to a safer distance, Kim exchanged a troubled look with Lieutenant Yun. What had begun as a diplomatic misunderstanding has revealed more of Earth's capabilities than intended. The careful balance of the first contact mission has shifted. They don't trust us now, Yun said quietly. No, Kim agreed, but they respect us more. Sometimes fear and respect are two sides of the same coin. The question now is what the Terrell will do with this new information about Earth's defensive technologies and what other misunderstandings might lie ahead. To demonstrate our sincerity, Ambassador J. Choi said carefully, we offer a limited exchange of non-critical technologies. The tension in the room was palpable as both human and Terrell representatives considered the proposal. We accept, the Terrell diplomat finally responded. We are particularly interested in your approach to shield harmonics. Days of careful negotiation followed. Engineer Min Kong spent hours explaining human theories on energy distribution to fascinated Terrell scientists, while military advisor H. Ru studied alien faster-than-light communication principles. Your species approaches problems differently, observed the Terrell military attaché. We had classified humans as a developing civilization. This was clearly an error in judgment, Rhea replied diplomatically. Different paths can lead to similar destinations. The exchange center had been hastily constructed on a neutral space station orbiting the moon. Its circular design featured a central meeting area surrounded by specialized research pods. Humans and Terrell moved carefully around each other, still adjusting to the differences in their physical forms. The tall, silver-skinned aliens towered over even the tallest humans, their 6 eyes constantly scanning in different directions. Engineer Min Kong sat across from 3 Terrell scientists. Between them was a holographic display showing the basic principles of Earth's shield harmonic system. The key is not power, Kong explained, pointing to the energy flow diagrams, but resonance. We discovered that shields don't need to block energy completely, they can redirect it instead. The lead Terrell scientist, Dax, leaned forward, his elongated fingers tracing the energy patterns in the air. Fascinating, you use the incoming energy to strengthen the shield itself. Exactly, Kong nodded. The more power directed at the shield, the stronger it becomes, up to a certain threshold. What Kong didn't mention was that the diagram showed only the basic theory, not the advanced applications that made Earth's defenses so effective. This was calculated openness, showing enough to demonstrate goodwill without revealing strategic advantages. In another research pod, military advisor Han Rio examined the Terrell communication system. Unlike human technology, which relied on tightly focused beams or quantum entanglement, the Terrell used what they called subspace resonance. Your method allows communication across greater distances than ours, Ryu admitted, studying the alien equipment. But it requires more power. The Terral communications expert, Lena, nodded. Different priorities shaped our development. We needed to coordinate across multiple star systems early in our expansion, while we focused on efficiency due to limited resources, Ryu noted. Neither mentioned the obvious strategic implications of their different approaches. The Terral could communicate across greater distances, but humans could do so with less chance of detection. Ambassador Choi and the Terral diplomat, Ren, observed the exchanges from a glass-walled observation room. Your people learn quickly, Ren remarked, all 6 eyes focused on Choi for once, as do yours. It seems we have much to offer each other, Choi replied. Ren's skin shifted to a slightly darker silver. What humans had learned was a sign of serious contemplation. I must confess, Ambassador, that our initial assessment of Earth was incomplete. How so? Choi asked, though she already suspected the answer based on your planet's emissions and development timeline. We categorize you as a Level 3 civilization, newly spacefaring, typically centuries away from becoming a significant galactic presence. Ren's upper eyes blinked in sequence. Your military technology suggests otherwise, Choi maintained a neutral expression. Perhaps your classification system needs additional variables. In the Shield Technology Lab, a minor breakthrough was occurring. The Terral had combined their understanding of subspace fields with the human resonance theory, creating a hybrid shield that showed promising results in simulations. This is remarkable, Dax exclaimed, watching the test data flow. The efficiency is higher than either of our standard approaches. Kong studied the numbers carefully. A true innovation, he agreed. Something neither of our species had developed independently. Word of this success quickly spread through the exchange center. In the FTL communication lab, Ryu and Lena were achieving similar results by combining human power efficiency with Terral range capabilities. Our approaches complement each other, Lena observed, because they evolved to solve different problems. That's the value of different perspectives, Ryu added. By the 5th day of exchanges, the atmosphere had noticeably shifted. The initial weariness had given way to cautious excitement. Scientists and engineers from both species were finding that their different technological paths often addressed the same fundamental challenges from opposite directions. Not everyone was comfortable with the growing cooperation. Military leaders on both sides watched the exchanges with concern, calculating how each shared insight might affect the balance of power. Earth's Defense Council held emergency sessions daily, while the Terral military attaché sent encrypted reports to their fleet command hourly. On the 6th day, a new Terral vessel arrived at the station, larger and more ornate than the military ships. It clearly served a ceremonial function. From it emerged an elderly Terral with skin that had faded to a pale white, a High Council member named Vox. Your presence honors us, Ambassador Choi said at the welcoming ceremony. Vox studied the humans with all 6 eyes. News of this exchange has reached our home world. The potential intrigues us. That evening, a formal dinner brought together the leadership teams from both species. Despite vastly different dietary needs, they shared the same space, separated only by the different atmospheric compositions at their respective tables. As the meal concluded, Vox rose to speak. In our long history of contact with other species, we have found few with your unique perspective. Most follow similar technological paths, building upon shared galactic knowledge. Earth, isolated until now, found its own way. Captain Kim, representing Earth Space Command, replied, necessity drove our innovations. We had no one to learn from but ourselves. And that, Vox, he said, is precisely why this exchange may prove valuable. Beyond initial expectations, your shield harmonics alone represent an approach our scientists never considered. Combined with our methods, they create possibilities neither of us imagined. Ambassador Choi raised her glass to unexpected partnerships as the diplomats made toasts. Engineer Kong and scientist Dax quietly discussed the future. What happens next? Kong asked after this initial exchange. Will depend on factors beyond our control, Dax replied, but speaking as a scientist rather than a representative of my government, I hope this is just the beginning. Neither could have predicted how quickly that hope would be tested or how vital their newborn cooperation would prove to be. The warning came from the Outer System Monitoring Boards. A new fleet had emerged from hyperspace, their configuration unknown to Earth. Dead ass, they are mecha vessels, the Terral ambassador explained grimly. They seek resources and often target developing systems. Captain Kim, his response was immediate, then they're in for a surprise. We may be developing, but we're not defenseless. In a hastily organized joint operation, human military craft integrated with Terral communication systems, the U.S. Thunder, commanded by Captain Sunpark, took point position alongside the Terral flagship. When the mecha fleet approached, they found not an easy target, but a combined defensive force using technology they couldn't easily counter. Human adaptive shielding complemented Terral precision weaponry in ways neither species had anticipated. After a brief skirmish that damaged 2 mecha scouts, the invading fleet retreated rather than face the unexpected alliance. Perhaps, the Terral commander suggested as they watched the mecha ships disappear, this is the beginning of a more permanent arrangement between our peoples. Admiral Lee nodded thoughtfully. First contact rarely goes as planned, but I think we've laid the foundation for something meaningful here. The emergency alert sounded across all Earth defense platforms at exactly 342 hours. Captain Sunpark was reviewing maintenance logs when the warning flashed across his screen. He immediately ordered the U.S. Thunder to battle readiness. Unknown ships detected at the edge of the system, reported his tactical officer, Lieutenant Bo Young. 27 vessels, configuration does not match any known signatures in our database. Admiral Hannah Lee's face appeared on the main view screen, her expression tense but controlled. All ships, prepare for possible hostile contact. Captain Park, your vessel will take point with the Terral flagship. Park acknowledged the order, though his heart raced. The Thunder was Earth's newest destroyer, equipped with the hybrid shield technology developed during the recent exchanges, but it remained untested in actual combat. On the command deck of Earth's orbital defense station, the Terral ambassador stood beside Admiral Lee. His silver skin had paled to an almost white shade, a sign of alarm among his people. Those are mecha vessels, he said, his translator struggling to convey the gravity in his voice. They are known throughout this sector as resource hunters. They target developing systems, taking what they want with little concern for the inhabitants. Lee turned to him, and they're here for Earth, most likely, the ambassador replied. They monitor subspace communications, they would have detected our contact with your world. Captain Kim joined them. Each moment of this unprecedented first contact was punctuated by a delicate balance of revelation and concealment, a dance of technological prowess and cautious diplomacy, with both sides determined to prove their worth while guarding their secrets.